Squirrel, 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 squirrel. Well, still a few squirrels around here. Welcome to the superpilotish channel. My name's Graham Wilson, and today in my basement, I'm going to be telling you point how to get a squirrel out of your living room. Or, yeah, the title was saying how to get a squirrel out of the house. If it's up in the attic, I have no clue, man. You're out of luck. But the thing is, the other day I was hanging around, having a few pops out in the garage and talking to one of my neighbors, and so he got a call, and hey, there's a squirrel in the house, and he's like, "Well, gotta go. Do you got any gloves around here?" And I said, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I do." And so this guy, he grew up on a farm actually, so he's like, animals, big deal. I mean, you can't shoot him in the city or nothing like that, but I mean, he used to. Get rid of that thing. Hey, Dan, welcome to the show. So I gave him uh, these uh, these welding gauntlets. So he says, "You got some big." I had like some regular leather work gloves, and he says, "No, I'm gonna need something bigger for the squirrel." So he get these bad boys on, and he was gonna go grab the squirrel and stuff like that. And he also had a cardboard box. Uh, Somewhat similar to this one here. But anyways, that's what I keep all my on the road stuff in. Yeah, so he was thinking he could throw a box over it, but later I found out that he did not manage to get the box over top of it, and he ended up using a towel instead, a combination of the welding gauntlets and a towel, not a dish towel like this one. I didn't feel like going all the way upstairs to get an actual bath towel, but we took a bath towel, got his gloves, threw it over top of the squirrel. Now the squirrel kind of it took off in a shot because it's a wild animal, and it's cornered, right? So there's this great big human going after it, so it's gonna have that kind of fight or flight response. And the squirrel was pissed, making lots of noise apparently. So yeah, so anyways, he did manage to get the gauntlets and the towel, and it was like in the bathroom, in behind the toilet, trying to hide and stuff like that. And he described it a lot better than me. It was quite when he told me what happened when he returned my gloves there, my gauntlets. It was quite a good story. It's pretty funny too. So anyways, he got the squirrel, he put it outside his house, and he let it go just kind of on. He has this kind of wood railing on his front porch. He just kind of throws it there, and he steps back. And then you would think that the squirrel would just like scamper off and up a tree, and it's freedom, something like that. But instead, the squirrel turns around at him and just starts bitching at him. He's standing there like, yeah, this squirrel's mad at me, Then eventually the squirrel went away. But yeah, that neighbor, he has the squirrels don't like him. Historically, they've never liked him. He used to work at the university here in town, and he said that he's not he's kind of like me in the sense that it's not a good idea to go out and feed wild animals. And so, I mean, squirrels are pretty cute and everything. People like to give them peanuts, but they're still wild animals, So if humans feed them, then they lose the ability to actually go out and scavenge on their own to get food. And then if the humans aren't around, they'll starve to death. So what's the more humane thing to do? I say just let them be animals and do their thing and learn how to do it and teach their young how to do it. But so he's that way too. But at the school, university here in town, everybody's feeding the squirrels. The squirrels are getting in the garbage. They're totally, domesticated. And he didn't like that. And so one day he was kind of bored walking in between class on the campus there, and he said, "I'm gonna go touch that squirrel's butt." So anyway, the squirrel's sitting there on a garbage can, and he went up and he went up and he went up. And the squirrel wasn't moving or anything, and he went poke right on his back leg. And the squirrel got all mad. Yeah. And then from then on, he would say, apparently the squirrel remembered who he was, and every time he'd walk by, the squirrel would get pissed off at him. So anyways, yeah, it was quite the I'm assuming that story is true. It's so weird, it must be true. So anyways, oh, hey Jim. So yeah, so if you are going to get a squirrel, yeah, like I said, you got to get the big. These are like welding gauntlets. They're pretty tough leather. Now, as an example here too of what not to get. So I also got my motorcycle gloves here. These are my winter kind of colder motorcycle gloves. You can see it's got the thermo line. How do we do that there? Thermo line. But yeah, so it's kind of like a thinsulate type thing. And you'll notice on motorcycle gloves that the leather is actually pretty thin. So they might look like they're pretty thick, but that's just like a thinsulate kind of material fiber in there, and it's actually pretty thin. I have used these to try to catch an evil cat with very big claws, and yeah, the claws kind of went right through there. So I think a squirrel could probably take a chunk through there. Apparently, the squirrel was biting them all the time with these things, and no problem. But I think a squirrel would probably rip these bad boys open, and then you got to buy yourself some new motorcycle gloves. So, yeah, that evil cat. Anyways, I managed to get the best of it and trim its nails. Okay, so that was that. Now, I also remember when oh, hey, safety dog, howdy. And so anyways, I remember okay, might as well start recording this here. So first, how to get a squirrel out of the living room. So this I'm specifying the living room. And I call that the Rambo method, for just going in and grabbing them and be the He-Man and do what you must do. But if you got some time on your hand, you could also just open up the windows and open up the doors and just hope it goes out. So that's something. So we'll say open windows, doors. But the one thing about that is that if the squirrel managed to get in through an open window that maybe didn't have a screen, or the back door that was open, maybe as one's coming in, another one might, or as one's coming out, one might be coming in again. You never know. But it is a method that has worked. Open windows or doors. Yeah, like I don't, when you get a little, there you go, open windows or doors. When you get a little bit older, you start thinking about, you start thinking about like when you were a kid, like, oh, I remember when that happened. And then you're like, that was like 40 years ago or something. That was like 35 years ago. Did I remember that? Did I watch that on TV? I don't even know. I think I did. And so if I'm not mistaken, there was, we had a squirrel come in our house, went down into the rec room in the basement, because, if you're a Generation Xer like me, everybody had a rec room in the basement. They had more money than me, so I can't finish my basement because I can't afford it. I got some insulation. That's about it. I don't get the cool wood paneling effect, but we had our cool wood paneling in the basement. And if I remember correctly, a squirrel came in, went behind the couch, and the dog was like sniffing around or barking or something at it. And I think eventually what happened is my mom or dad or something like that, they kind of moved the couch out, and the dog chased the squirrel out or something like that. And we had the back door open. So I'm pretty sure that's what happens. It's a good story as far as I'm concerned. And so I will consider that to be true, even though I might have just made it up. Okay. And then if worse comes to worse, yeah, I could only think, I couldn't do the superpilotish five things. I could only kind of think of three. Although I did do, as my little bit of research that I usually do on this show, they say, "Oh, do this. Put peanuts up on the windowsill. They don't like the smell of vinegar and all that stuff." And it's like, I don't know. It's like, I like the Rambo method myself. And then so all else fails, you call a guy. So it's like everybody knows, oh, that's that guy. Yeah, that guy takes care of that. Yeah, that guy takes care of that. And or you talk to your neighbor, if it's a woman, she's got a guy on speed dial. Oh yeah, he always takes care of that for me. So you you got the oh, that's my guy. He does that. Yeah, so there you go. How to get a squirrel out of the living room, Rambo method, utilizing your welding gauntlets, a box, cardboard box if you want, I know for a fact it has worked with my neighbor with a bath towel, so that works cool. The open windows or doors method and hope it goes out. And uh, and then you might have to be patient on that because I mean sometimes these animals they'll just get cornered and they'll just kind of freeze up and stay there, and they could be there for a long time. That evil cat that I was talking about before, it stayed underneath bed in the guest bedroom for like a week. It was starting to stink and stuff. So I was like, okay, you're getting out of there, buddy. And then yeah, that was an epic Rambo method of catching that cat. And trimming his nails was a job too. But see, cats aren't so bad because you can kind of exert your dominance over them, and then they'll say, okay, yeah, this is the boss now, and then they calm down. But wild animals don't do that. They'll just stay wild and keep attacking you. So you got to watch it with squirrels, even though they're cute and they aerate my garden very well by planting nuts in there and stuff. Yeah, they can still bite you, get rabies and stuff. And number three, call a guy. That guy, you know the guy. It's that guy. Yeah. Well, that guy. Yeah. Yeah, I know him. Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he is. So there's that guy. All right, that's all I got for you today, pretty much. Well, okay. Let's see if we can bring this around to aviation. Why would you want to get rid of the squirrel here? And there might be squirrels in your hangar or something like that. A lot of hangars will have like where you park the airplanes and then maybe an office out to the side of it. What if the squirrel gets into your office? Usually a lot of hangars out there have hangar cats, and they kind of take care of the mice and everything in there. Just cat that hangs out in the hangar. Hangar cats are usually kind of fun to run into, and but yeah, they just kind of take care of the mice. They don't really. Oh, Kathy's here. Hi. And yeah, so it's like, what if that squirrel kind of gets into the office part? Well, there you go. Open the doors, all that other fun stuff. Rambo method. There's probably some kind of welding gauntlets or something like that that's pretty heavy around the hangar. And I've never really heard of a squirrel really going into hangars too much. The biggest problem there in hangars is if you got the big doors open to get the planes in and out. Maybe it's a hot day and you have them open all day. There's birds that can kind of come up in there and start making nests up in the rafters of the hangar. And I don't know, the old Carl out at the airport, he always had like just this crappy old FM, like this just crappy old radio with a busted antenna, and he stuck it up in the roof, and he always kept it plugged in just at a low enough level, like some radio station. I don't know what radio station was it. I don't know if it was talk radio or what, but he just always had that radio just kind of going, and that kept all the birds away. I never saw anyone. Birds were never making nests in any of the hangars around the T hangars there that he had. And then yeah, birds are cool. And then and then I was in this other big hangar. There was a hawk in there, and I was trying to think, and the guys were wondering, like, is this hawk gonna leave? Because I mean, there's some people had their business jets in there, and the guy just finished waxing up the jet and everything, and he didn't want the bird to crap on the jet. But I guess eventually the hawk left. What else do I got there for a story for you? I was going to talk about raccoons or something like that too. Yeah. Well, I guess that's all I can think of for now. And yeah, there we go. Just a little short one today, I guess. And yeah, no, I had it, I lost it. Okay, that's enough. How to get your squirrel out of the living room. Oh, yeah, that was another thing too. If you're not sure if I mentioned it, but if you got squirrels up in the attic or something like that, you call the guy. And then usually what they'll do there is same as if you got a raccoon up in the attic, they'll pop a little hole there, and then they'll put a trap, and they'll kind of rig up something where it's kind of, I don't know, I guess they use like plywood or something, basically, so that the only escape route is into this trap that's there. And I have another neighbor that likes to he just put in a garden a few years ago, and he actually, I don't know how he had a squirrel trap, but he had a squirrel. I went into his garage and see this. I hear pissed off squirrel sound, and it's it's like he's got a squirrel in his cage. I'm like, what are you doing with that? He's like, I'm gonna go to let it go in the park. So this guy's been like trapping all the squirrels in the neighborhood, and just he's got a boat out on the river. He's like, next time I go out to my boat, I just let them go out in the park. They love it out there. It's like, I don't know, man. Anyhow, that's the way that goes. Yeah, I don't know what the guy does with the raccoons or anything like that. I've seen a few fat raccoons around here in the neighborhood, but garbage day is pretty plentiful for those guys. And yeah, okay. Well, anyways, that's about it. I'll go see if there's any questions here. And I get to play with my StreamYard here too. So thank you for the compliment on the awesome gloves there, Doc. David Proden, the safety doc. Yeah, check him out. There you go. David P. Proden, PhD. He's got a YouTube channel too, and he's kind of in. I've interviewed David before here, and he's interviewed me on his channel. And some of the people are wondering what Doc is up to these days, and he's kind of busy with school and stuff like that. So he's not doing too much on the YouTubes these days. Apparently, he is breaking in a new keyboard. So good luck. Jim is a fan of the BB gun to chase the squirrels away. Yeah. I'm not even sure what the bylaws are like for BB guns around here. I know there was one guy. There's one guy. I forget whether he's trying to use a 22 or a BB gun. I think he was trying to use I don't know. He's trying to shoot the squirrel in the head, and it just wouldn't work. And they got really thick skulls, I guess. So I guess you got to get them in the heart, like standard hunting position. What do we got here? Okay, yeah, good old Kathy's here. Best squirrel story ever. This American Life squirrel cop. Luckily, the house didn't burn down. Okay. Squirrel cop. All right. Have to check it out. Okay, what else we got here? Oh, hey, thanks for showing up here too, Dustin. You got carpenter bees, eh? They're huge and need holes in your house, 1/4 to 1/2 inch wide. 1/4 to 1/2 inch. How big would that be? Get the old ruler out here. It'd be 1/2 inch is pretty big. That's about that big. 1/4 inch. Yeah, see, for carpenter bees, I've seen them do holes about 1/4 inch. Yeah, not 1/2 inch. I've seen bumblebees make them up to about 1/2 inch, but I like having bumblebees around because they're great pollinators. Okay, there we go. Oh, Al popped in here too. Did I miss that? That's right, Al and Jim. They got the same color avatar thing. So. Oh, interesting. Okay, this is what I do not know. Wood-boring insects are treated with fipronil. Never heard of it. Always a good tip. Maybe somebody, if I'm ever worried about carpenter bees or getting holes or anything like that around here, I will rewatch this till the end of the chat here and find out about fipronil. I don't know what that is, but take your word for that. And okay, cool. He's an honorable chem farmer. Well, that's the funny thing about if you are going to be doing any chemicals and stuff like that in your, I was talking with this one guy that was any of the gardeners here. Kathy, she's a gardener too. It's like for any of the gardeners out there that are considering using any type of herbicide, pesticide, or anything like that on your crops. There's a guy that I know. He was in the produce business for many years, and he was telling me that he tried to get into like the organic selling. Well, he was in the produce business where he'd buy it from the farmer, act as the middleman, and get buyers for it out at other distributors or directly with a grocery store or something like that. And he was saying that the government would come in and inspect all the organic stuff, and they had to throw like half of it out because there's this one little weird little mold that they detected because they don't use any pesticides or anything like that. And so it's kind of funny because this guy's a little bit older than me, and he's like, "Oh yeah, man. Oh, he loves his chemicals. He loves his Roundup. He's like, this is great." It was like, oh well, different generation, and it was his business too. So I mean, you can't throw out half your stock. You expect to make a profit. So that's another reason why all your organic veggies and everything are a little bit more expensive because there's a lot more spoilage on them. So anyways, if you didn't know that, there you go. You just learned something new on the Superpilotish channel. So here we go. What have we got? Okay. Oh boy, we got all kinds of all kinds of like carpenter bee chat going on over here. The upside down bottle trick on YouTube DIY works for carpenter bees. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay, we got all kinds of cool advice here for bees and gardening and everything. Yeah, I'm with Kathy on this one too. I don't use any on my garden. I don't use any sprays or anything like that. Let the bugs take their percentage. Yep. And you can get like bugs that they'll put some holes in the leaves. Like I got radishes out there right now that are still going. It's kind of funny. They go to seed and when it gets hot, and then now it's getting a little cooler, so it's actually a pretty good radish time of the year. And yeah, so there's like little holes and stuff that I don't know, some kind of worm or something's eating the leaves of the radish, but it's still the radishes are just fine. So, but yeah, that's another thing my buddy was saying there that's about like, okay, if you got it in your garden, organic gardening, like that's not too bad because you pick it, you wash it up really good yourself, and then you eat it. So it's not a big deal, but it's not like it's being transported, getting mushed in with a bunch of other things and sitting on shelves and getting manhandled by people's hands and stuff. So it's his Mr. Chemical, my buddy there, he he was thinking like, yeah, for your garden, that's just fine. But for large scale agricultural production, it's best to have the chemicals. Oh, there we go. There's somebody new here. We got Stereo Hearts R&B. Well, thanks for finding the place here. We got a question here. Is there any kind of rodent that you wouldn't mind living in your house? This is a rodent-free house. I don't really want any. I mean, there's some people have like pet. What do they have? Pet weasels and stuff like that. I know some people have like pet rats, and I don't know. That's just kind of not my thing. What hamsters and gerbils are those considered? Are they considered rodents? I don't know. Not really my kind of thing. But thanks for popping in, Stereo Hearts R&B. And okay, cool. Yeah, chickens love the buggy guavas. Yeah, very cool. There we go. Me and Kathy, we're on the same page here. So that's about it. No hard no on rodents. But okay, so that is about it for today. Today is Friday. No pizza day today for me, but I will be back on Monday because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. And I think that's about it. We'll just kind of shut her down. You guys have a great weekend. So, as usual, thank you for watching. Bye. Have a great weekend.